Crash with Radar Contact. I wanted to talk to you guys today about skills, skill plans, the Magic 14, how to figure out what skills you should be training for what ships you're looking at training, and maybe what type of activities you want to do in the game. Let's get started. As a brand new player, you have no idea what's going on really. You're trying to figure out what these skills are and how to skill up so that you are useful to yourself and to anybody else that you're playing with in the game, what ships you might want to fly. Hopefully we can share a little bit of insight on that today. The first thing I would recommend is looking at the Magic 14, which are 14 skills that correlate to any ship that you're going to fly in the entire game of EVE for the rest of your career. So first, let's go to the website and take a look at them. All right, so here we are on EVE University's website that they put up, the Magic 14, and you can read through here, but it basically just talks about these skills that we're going to go over real quick. So under your skill tab in the game, you have the same thing as we're going to look at here. You've got an engineering tab, and under your engineering tab, you're going to see these 4 skills: CPU management, power grid, capacitor management, capacitor system operation. Let's take a look. All right, so here we are back in the game. We're going to press Alt-X to get into our skills. You can also click the portrait right here of your character. Either way works. All right, so we're in our skills. Let me get out of here. All right, so this is what you're going to most likely see when you come in. You may see that you've got this little screen with your character or whatever loaded. You can press this arrow to get rid of it. Each one of these skill tabs has a brief description in that black box that you can read to see what's going on. So for instance, we wanted engineering. So here's engineering. It tells you these are skills that improve your ship's CPU, power grid, and capacitor. Let me show you where you'll find those 3 things in the game so that you understand what you're looking at. So CPU, power grid, capacitor. So right here I've got an Orca. We'll look at the CPU, power grid, and capacitor of that. We'll press Alt-F. Once we get in, this is the Orca that we're flying. You'll see it has a CPU block right there, a power grid block as well. So CPU, it's just telling us right now that we've used almost all of it. We have 14.2 out of 501.2 left. Power grid, we've got 1,149 out of 1,500 that's still left, so a lot of power grid. Your capacitor is going to be right here. This is the capacitor information. The stable or unstable, depending on what's going on, will tell you a lot about what's going on. You really, in most cases, want this to say stable until you get quite a bit better at playing the game and understanding some things. If you have anything that says unstable, you're going to have a lot of problems as you fit ships and this, that, and the other. So all 3 of these things are what allow you to fit different fittings in the game. So if you don't train these Magic 14 things up fairly high, fairly quick in the game, you're going to find that people are trying to give you ideas for a ship fitting. Hey, fly this ship, fly this ship. And if you haven't trained those skills, you're not going to have enough CPU, or you're not going to have enough power grid, or your capacitor is going to be unstable. So we really recommend flying or working the Magic 14 as early as you can, as early as you want to in your career. All right, so here again we've got engineering, skills that improve your ship's CPU, power grid, and capacitor. It also tells you that intelligence and memory are the 2 top attributes to help train this category faster. And you'll notice that a lot of these say intelligence and memory. So training intelligence and memory in your skill attributes in the beginning is also highly recommended. To do that, we have to go to our character screen here. We go to our attributes, and we can adjust these skills with our remap button that you probably have that you won't see on my screen because I've already done mine a couple times, and I don't have another remap available for, looks like, about 11 months. I'll show you how to do that a little bit more in just a minute, and hopefully it'll explain a little bit. All right, so this is the main tab to give you an idea of what's in each tab. So once you click engineering, it'll show you all the skills that fall under engineering here, assuming you have all skills selected on this tab. So here's CPU management, there's capacitor management, power grid, and capacitor systems operations. So those were the first 4 things that we were talking about earlier. You'll see the rest of the different categories will be armor and shields and whatever else in just a minute. But don't pull anything down into your training queue yet. We'll talk about a better way to do it in just a moment. So let's go back to the web page. Okay, so here's engineering. We just looked at all 4 of these things. Below engineering, there's going to be armor. So there's 2 things underneath armor. Shields, 2 things under shields that you're going to want to train. Targeting, again 2. Navigation 3. Spaceship command is 1. So these are the Magic 14 that we just all looked at. Now it's telling you that optimal attributes for training Magic 14 are intelligence and memory for a lot of them. So that's what we were just speaking about with the attributes screen on your character. Other than intelligence and memory, you've got intelligence and perception for 3 of them, and then perception and willpower. Perception and willpower are typically trained under a PvP type character. If that's what you're wanting to do, you're going to want to spend a lot of time in the beginning doing intelligence and memory, and then for PvP, maybe perception and willpower for a lot of the different things on that. And we'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute. So here we have the different training plans that these guys recommend. There's 3 primary ones. So there's training plan that you can go take all your Magic 14 to level 5 right away with each one. So CPU management, you'd train all of CPU management before you moved on to the next one. I don't recommend this one personally. You can definitely do it if you want to. And it's quite long, but once you get all of these trained, you'll be done. In my opinion, a slightly better way would be to use one of these other 2. So you can either train all all Magic 14 to level 3, then all to level 4, then all to level 5, or you can train all of them individually, level 1 first, then level 2 for each and every one, then level 3, 4, and 5. It might sound kind of difficult, but it's not at all, and I'll show you. So what I would do if I was a brand new player, I would come and I would start here, click show. You'll see CPU management 1 and all the different ones that we were just looking at. So all 14 of them are right here. You'll train all these to level 1. So we're going to select them all, and then we're going to press Control C. If you don't want to press Control C, you can right click and click copy as well. Then we're going to go back into the game. Once we're back into the game, I assume your training queue will either be empty or it'll just have 1 or 2 different things. Mine's full. I've got some different things I'm training. But anyways, you'll click this hamburger here. I call these the hamburger. There's this one. There's another hamburger looking deal up here. But anyways, we'll click the hamburger, and there's a thing that says all skills listed in clipboard. Add skills listed in clipboard to end of queue. So we'll click that. You'll see everything that we selected a moment ago in the website is now here. I assume there will be a button right here that you'll be able to click that says apply skills to queue or whatever the case may be, and you'll hit apply. After that, you'll hear a bunch of beeps and noises as the skills are added into your queue. So after you've done this step, then you're going to go back to your website and do the same thing with level 2. All right, so same thing. You'll hide this first one you just did, click the second one, copy them all, bring them back to the website, paste them all. You'll do that through 1, 2, 3, 4, level 5. Here it talks about alpha clone not importable as day limited. I'm not entirely sure what that means or how that's going to work out. I think maybe some of these right here you won't be able to train. I'm not entirely sure. If anybody has done this, please let us know so we can tell members that are wanting to do this. But once you've done this, you'll have all your Magic 14 started. You'll see that there's going to be a count on the skill screen that tells you how many days it's going to take, and let's go look at that now. Alright, so here we are back at our skill screen. I don't have all those skills loaded in here, but I do have some other ones that we can use as an example. So right here it says that it's going to take my character to train all the skills I have currently in here 88 days, 18 hours, and 23 minutes. Yours is going to say a completely different number. It's going to be associated with the skills that you have put inside your training queue. Also, if you haven't, make sure you start this if it hasn't already been started. But anyways, it'll tell you your days. So let's say it does say 88, just for an example. Now, that's when you're going to want to go into your character screen again, go to your attributes, and do your remap. You can, if you want to, you can take and increase your intelligence and your memory points. There's a little button, I believe it says remap now or something of that nature. And you can click that and you can adjust these points. It'll look like this screen right here, and you'll be able to add you'll be able to take away some points from the other ones that you don't want. So in this case, you wouldn't want charisma, willpower, and perception. So you would take those away, you would add all of them until your intelligence is completely full, and then the rest to your memory, which I think it'll be half to 3/4 full. The rest will be as low as they are. Your base skill points are 17. I have some implants that help my skills, but your number should be slightly different than this for your total. And that'll be your remap. Keep in mind, a neural remap is only available to a player that's used all their remaps once a year. So as you see, I can't remap again until 2021-9/23. So I've got almost a year before I can do mine. You should see, if you're a new player, a remap available now, and then one or two, I think it's 2 bonus remaps. So that means that you can remap for your intelligence and your memory. For instance, you can train all your Magic 14, and what that'll do is that'll take your skills and it'll change it from 88 days maybe down to 56 days. I'm not entirely sure what the number would be, but it'll increase your training quite a bit if most of your things inside your training queue are intelligence and memory attributes. So back here, then you'll see the bonus remap, and that essentially means that after you've finished and you feel good about training most of the skills that you want for intelligence and memory, you can go through and change the remap to whatever the next thing is that you want to do. So let's say after all that you decide that you want to be skilled at PvP. So you could think about doing some gunnery, for instance. So right here it says gunnery is perception and willpower. Missiles are perception and willpower. So gunnery and missiles are your main perception and willpower, but there's a lot of skills on here. You can see there's 63 just in gunnery, where everything else is 13, 15, 16, 13, 13. So once you do get to the point to where you want to do PvP, it's really worth training perception and willpower just for these 63 different skills for each of the PvP fittings. So once you get to that point, you may decide to go into your character screen, change this, do your bonus remap it to those items. Now, let's talk about if you want to learn to fly a specific ship a certain way. So let's just go into our ship fitting screen. So I'm going to press Alt F. And we'll take a look. First, real quick, we've got the holes and fits hardware. There's a little search bar here. If you don't see that for some reason, you need to click this wrench to open it up. These are filters. So with no filters, it shows you every ship in the game, but it doesn't necessarily show you a fit underneath it. So this would be a blank fit if we click this. This is a retribution, but we haven't fit it in any way. If you want to see ships that have already been fit that our corporation has, then you would click right here under this filters corporation fittings. It looks like we have 108 out of 300 of the ships in the game fit. So we'll just come down here to frigate, for instance. Now you can see that we have a tormentor, and again, if we click just this, it'll open up just a blank tormentor. There's a completely blank tormentor, but if we click the fitting that the corp is built below it, then that will show us the fitting. All right, so enough of that. Once you found whatever ship it is you want to fly, we'll say the tormentor. That every ship's the same as far as what I'm about to show you. We'll go into the show info. You'll have this screen pull up. This is the requirements tab is the first tab you're going to want to look at for any ship that you can't fly. It'll tell you exactly what you need to fly it. Amarr Frigate 1, Spaceship Command 1. If you can't fly it because you don't have the skills, you'll have to train them. So we'll open up our screen real quick. If you can't fly it, you can just drag each individual item down and put it in your skill queue. If you have already purchased it, it'll be here. It'll show up kind of like this, where there's empty gray blocks, and you just pull them down. If you haven't bought it, it'll show up with these dots like this, and you'll see down here it says buy skill. So you can click buy skill. I think it asks you, well, I just bought that one. Anyways, it'll ask you if you want to buy it. I think I have already set it to where it doesn't do that. But either way, so now you can see that it's turned white, and I have the option to train this if I had the required skills to do so. So capital projectile turret, view required skills, and then it's just showing me all the skills I would need to train that. Anyways, let's not get too far off. After you have the basic skills just to sit in the ship, which are your requirements here, then you can get better at flying it by going to your skill mastery. So these are the items that you will need to get better at flying this ship overall. So this one, for instance, allows you to do more damage for every one that you train. This tells you right here, basic turret operation, you get 2% bonus to rate of fire. Blah, blah, blah. Each individual one has something different. So you'll want to train all of these. Train all of these first under your level 1, blah, blah, blah. Keep going through each and every tab until everyone is trained. Once they're all trained, you'll see the check marks in your level 1 skill mastery. It also tells you how long it takes. So right here, 4 hours and 19 minutes for me to train this Tormentor to level 1. So then you would go to level 2, you would do the same thing. You can see right here I've got a couple that are already done, a couple that aren't. So in this case I could finish training these, and then once these are finished, then I would go to level 3, level 4, level 5, and it tells you right here the training time that you need for each one. Alright, so now let's say you can fly ships to whatever value you would like to, but you want to get better at manufacturing items. So how do you figure that out? So again, we'll go into our skill screen. We'll go to whatever tab it is we're looking for. So in this case, we want to manufacture. So we're going to find production. It says skills that improve your ability to manufacture ships, modules, and other products. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. So we click it. Here are all the skills for manufacturing, a total of 12 skills right here. Now let's say you want to get better at manufacturing Tech 1 specific ships. You're going to go to your certificates in this box, click it. Now you'll see there's this box that says Tech 1 Manufacturing. If you click it, you can see other things. If you decided you wanted to skip Tech 1 Manufacturing and go straight to Advanced Medium Spaceship Manufacturing, you could do that. It'll give you the skills. Here's for level 1. But let's go for now to Tech 1 Manufacturing, since that's what most people are going to do. Here is your Mastery tab, 1 through 5, just like the ships. And then you have this little eye to show information. If you click the eye, it opens up another screen right here, which is exactly the same as this, but gives you a slight bit more detail. So it tells you in the description, the certificate represents a level of competence in Tech 1's sub-capital ships and items production. This is a good skill set for players wishing to build their own products. You can click levels. Once you click levels, again, you can see this is the same, Industry 3, Industry 3. And it tells us that we've already acquired the certificate. Same thing with 2. Same stuff here as here. Level 3. We don't have all the skills for this, so it's telling us that the total training time for me to finish these skills is 8 hours and 47 minutes. If I wanted to do it, I can see that this skill is half trained. I haven't finished it, but it would only take 11 minutes. So I could take this jury rigging, I could put it right down here. And now it's in our skill queue. Let's go ahead and remove it for now though. Same thing here, Advanced Industry. It's telling us that we've got level 1 trained, and that with these being blue the way they are, that means that we have inside our skill queue somewhere down here, we already have these in the queue to train later on down the road. So you'd keep going, level 4, level 5. Here at level 5, you can see it's going to say take 33 days to train all of our Tech 1 manufacturing skills to level 5. And you can do that with anything in the game. If you're a miner and you want to get better at reprocessing ores, then this is where you would start reprocessing certificates, or I'm sorry, resource harvesting. You could click reprocessing right here. And this tells you level 1, I still need plagioclase, or however you want to say it. So I would drag that down. Level 2, so on and so forth. So take a look at whatever it is you want to do, come up into these skills and get her done. All right, I want to thank you guys a lot for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out to one of the corp members. Most of the guys in the corporation are very helpful and would love to help out. If you learned anything from this video and you'd like to see some more, please click the like and subscribe buttons to see future videos down the road. Fly dangerous.